Hello students. In this video today, I'm going to tell you about the English project. Now this project is part of your FA1. FA1 means Formative Assessment 1. So you need to do it properly. Okay, so English project is there. Now what you're supposed to do in it? Topic is given here. Okay, so now here you can see you have two options given, story writing or interview writing. So you have to select any one of these topics. So story writing or interview writing. Now if you are selecting, you're going for story writing, what you are supposed to do, I'll tell you. Now story writing, the question is, complete the story with the help of the beginning and the moral given for the story. Give a suitable title for the story. Means you have to complete a story, okay, and the beginning of the story will be given to you and also the moral of the story. Your work is to complete that story. You have to take that story ahead. Okay, so looking into the introduction, the beginning which has been given to you, you will start with your story. Now you very well know how to write story, right? You have done in your last two classes in 3rd and 4th standard, right? So that way only you are going to write here. Okay, your first paragraph will be the introduction paragraph. Then the next paragraph, you can make 1 or 2 paragraph, up to you, will be the main content, main body of the story, and then you will have the conclusion, that is the concluding paragraph where you will end your story. Now when you are writing story, you have to write the title also. Okay, moral is ready for you. So you have to see that your moral is matching with the story. That way only you have to write. And remember, you are not going to use internet. You have to write your own ideas there, your own opinion, your own thoughts, whatever you feel. That way only you have to weave the story, to complete your story. Followed? Now you have to write this. When you're writing this story, see that you are just writing about two pages. You are using 2 pages for writing it. Okay. Now if you are writing on a notebook page, if you are using a notebook pages, then you have to write for 2 pages. And if you are going for a full-scale paper or A4 size paper, in that case you will be writing 1.5 page. That will also do. Okay, so that work you have to do if you are writing a story. Another option is, okay, now here the story goes. One day a traveler was passing through a forest. He was tired and thirsty, but he knew the forest was full of dangers. So, even though there was a cool river flowing by, he decided to go on. Suddenly, okay, so here I have stopped here. So you have the beginning of the story, you have the introduction, then suddenly what happened? Now you have to use your own ideas here to build up the story. So you are going to complete the story here. Okay, beginning is given and then from this word suddenly you have to continue your story. Okay, and the moral is given here. Greed has its downfall. It never goes unpunished. So this is the moral of the story. So you have to see that your moral matches with the story. Okay, so in this way you have to complete a proper full story. You know how to write it, right? Introduction, the main content, and then the conclusion. So in this way you are going to write a story in 2 pages. If you are using other pages than for a notebook, then you can use 1.5 pages also. Clear till here? Okay. The next option for you is interview writing. Now this is something different which you are going to do. Now just because it is a lockdown period, you cannot go out, right, outside your home also, your house. So what you are supposed to do here? You have to assume that one of your family member is a famous personality. Okay. Now, if you have to interview, you have to ask questions to them, right? You must have seen on your televisions how the inter questions are asked to the person, right? When the interview is going on, question is asked and the other person gives out the answer. So same way, here you have to assume that one of your family member, it can be any, from your parent, your brother, sister, or your grandparents. Okay, so you have to assume that they are very famous personality. Now they can be from any field, sportsman, they can be policeman, businessman, okay, etc. So you are asked to interview the person. So you can include any personality who is famous. Okay, not only the examples which I have given, you can select any other, like social worker. You have the theater personalities, defense personalities, right? So there are many which you can include. Okay, so you have to just assume. Now if you are taken sportsman, then you can take any famous personality you like, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli. Okay, then you have your Sania Mirza, Saina Nehwal, Sindhu. Then if you're going for policemen, then you have again Kiran Bedi, then you have Vishwas Nangre Patil. Then if you're going for businessmen, then we have the great Ambanis, Ratan Tata, Premji, right? And then theater personalities from film industries, you can take Lata Mangeshkar, Sonu Nigam, or any other actor or actress. Defense personality you can take, right? So in this way, you can also take social worker, Anna Hazare, Medha Patkar. So there are actually many personalities which are famous in India. So select any one of them. You have to assume that your family member, suppose your father is one of them, right? And you have to ask him the questions, right? So this is interview which you are going to take, right? You are not going to ask directly to that particular person, but you have to take some person, you have to assume that your father or your mother is that famous personality, and then you are going to ask questions to them. Now what will be the questions? Now you have to prepare questions, right? 15 to 20 questions you have to ask. Okay, so for that you have to make your own questions. You have to frame questions, okay, to be asked for the interview with the help of the points given. So here points are given to you. So based on these points, you have to frame questions: who, how, when, where, why. So you are going to frame sentences. Okay, now the points you can see here: childhood, you can ask question based on their childhood, then the beginning of the career, then the challenges they faced, then the strategies they adopted, then what about the family support, then their role model, then what are the strengths, weaknesses, then how they overcame the weakness or any fear, then the inspiration behind the success, then their ability to work under pressure, then their biggest achievement in their respective field, then feelings, how they feel at the zenith of success. Okay, zenith means peak, top of the success. Then their memorable experience from their field, and at the last, in the last, you are going to ask them about going to ask about a message which they would like to give to the young generation, young aspirants. Okay, so these are few points which I have given you. Based on these points, you are supposed to ask them question, frame question first, then you have to ask them, and whatever answer they are giving, you have to write it down. Okay, so this way you will have to go for interview writing. Okay, this is the first time, and I think you should go for this option. Okay, it's very interesting, right? Fine. So in this way you will frame the questions and ask for the question and write down the answers given by them. Fine. Okay, now how to go about your project, how you will write. Okay, now it carries, now it is a FA1, right? So it is very important. So how you will present your project? It should be presentable, right? Neat, tidy, clean, right? Okay, so your project should be neat and tidy, and you're using pen for the first time, so use it properly, be careful. Now what you will do first is the cover page. How will be the cover page? You can see the topics written there. Okay, so you have to write down them. First your name, roll number, your standard and division. You can write your roll number and division, last year's roll number and division, that will also do. Then the school's name, subject, and the topic which you have selected. Now we have two topics here, right? What is that? Story writing and interview writing. So whatever topic you're selecting, you're going to write there. Now you can use last year's notebook pages, full-scape papers, or even the A4 size papers. So whatever is available, you can utilize it. You have to write on the right hand side of the page. Remember when you used to write in the English composition notebook, how we write? The same way you are going to write it down. Now you can draw or stick the pictures related to the topic on the left hand side of the page. So if you are going for story writing, you can draw forest sceneries, river, and if you are good at drawing, you can also draw human figures there. Okay, and if you are going for interview writing, you have to stick the picture of the personality you have taken for interview. Okay, the name of the personality and the picture. Okay, suppose you have selected Virat Kohli, then you have to stick his picture. If Anna Hazare, then Anna Hazare's picture. So in this way, whichever personality you have selected, you can draw or stick the picture. Right? And related to that field, whatever you think I can draw, you are just welcome to draw it. Now once you have done with it, you have to tie it down. So you have to tie it with satin ribbon or staple along the left side end of the page. You have to put the 3 staple pins, that will do. Now the project must be handwritten. No need to type it, and you have to write it with your own handwritings. Okay, your parents' handwriting will not do. Okay, so no matter how you are writing, it's okay. You have to complete your work. You will be writing it, not your parents. Right? Now when to submit? Yeah, when the school reopens. So you have lots of time. Your work is to just plan your work properly and write it down. Okay, so make your project presentable, neat and tidy.